Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creative Native Podcast. Well, it's not really a podcast, more just an interview, but I'm Ryan Cardinal, the Ryan Cardinal, aka the Creative Native, and today I will be interviewing the one, the only, Dojo Comics. How's it going,
How
Brian?
are you, Ryan?
Good
to see
man.
you.
You as well. Yeah, man, see you in the chats all the time, see you floating around everywhere.
I am putting in the legwork, you betcha.
You definitely are, man. That's what you got to do these days. And I remember when I wanted to get into comic books, there was no pathway into it like this, where you can actually just hop on streams, let people know who you are, and get the word out. But now, man, it's the way to go. And seeing you everywhere, you're definitely putting in that time and that effort. So,
yeah, before today, there were 43 shows that I was a part of. So this is number 44.
Damn. I got to step my game up here, but we got who we got in the chat there. We got Darren Wagner. He's first. Welcome, Darren. Thank you for popping in. And yeah, so you got your book Siamese out right now on Indiegogo.
Yes, sir.
Let's pop that up here. Bam. Oh, that's not the right one. Hold on here. That's the wrong banner. Oh, your banner disappeared. Oh, weird. Okay, well, I'm going to put my banner up there. There we go. But yeah, we got Siamese going on. And yeah, give me a little breakdown of Siamese.
So Siamese is a collected 4-issue miniseries into a trade paperback form. This book will be over 100 pages. Each of the issues of this miniseries were 22 pages long. So there already is 88 pages. All of the covers will be inside the trade paperback. The covers that will appear on the trade paperback, once we start looking at the variants, I'm not reusing those 4 covers. They'll just be inside. But there'll also be a concept art section, sort of like behind the scenes. There'll be a fan art section, and there will be a professional pinup art section of the character Siamese.
Cool.
So yeah, it's going to be beefed up, and it'll be perfect bound. And so Siamese is the first 4 issues that I published as Dojo Comics. It's the first 4 comics that I published of 12. So although this is my first crowdfunding campaign ever, and my first as a member of CG, I have been publishing comic books for about 6 years now.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I've got a back catalog of books, and basically I mentioned that not just to brag, which maybe a little bit, but but more than that, it's though to give people the idea that they can back with confidence that this will be fulfilled, and the book is for all intents and purposes done. All I have to do is put the print files together and then order the various pieces of swag from the vendors, like the chibi stickers, the keychains and things like that. And I think that the vendor that gave me the longest lead time said it would be 4 weeks. That's so what I did, yeah, that's not bad at all. Now what I did here in the campaign is I indicated that this would be fulfilled by September. So 30 days from Monday, I plan to go another 30 days and then in demand. So if you're looking at that, so early April, so early June is when the 60 days, if you will be done.
Yeah.
So from that point, another 4 weeks, or at the beginning of July. So I honestly think that it will be fulfilled before September. I wanted to give myself a little bit of lead time though, because unforeseen things can happen.
Oh, that's one thing with these campaigns, that you have to work that stuff in, because you never know what's going to happen. Something could happen to the printers, especially now with COVID. You don't know what will get shut down in a heartbeat and throw a kink into the plan. So,
right, and not only that, but this will be the first time I've fulfilled a book this way. So I don't know what kind of challenges there will be to getting it done. I think that's a good problem to have, though. If there are so many, it takes me a long time. Yeah. That'd be good. Now I've already got my Gemini mailers. They're out in the garage. Nice. I've got the envelopes that they'll go in from the post office. So I'm trying to get things ahead of time. I've got the poker chips already in hand. So some things are already in the works.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, getting those little things ahead of time definitely helps out. Just because once you have the books in hand, then if you don't have that stuff lined up, you're just playing a game of catch up at that point.
Right. And my wife said she'll help me with the fulfillment. We'll see. I think she will.
She'll be sitting there packing, be like, "This sucks."
You and your damn comic books.
Yeah. Well, it's like we've all heard it before or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right. So what I was going to say is this 4-issue miniseries is the jumping on point for the whole connected superhero universe for Dojo Kun Comics. These are the first ones I published, and this 4-issue miniseries leads into the next 4-issue miniseries, which is called Deanna, Hammer of the Angels. Now that one I've already started working on. We're almost done with number 1 completely. So we're on page 19 of 22 on that one. So that one's really rolling along, and hopefully later this year that one will be launched as well.
Nice.
Siamese is they are twin Chinese American college graduates that have what's called, I'll call, a deviation gene. Now it's basically, to give you a perspective, it's mutants.
Yeah.
But I couldn't use that in the comic because Marvel and DC both co-copyrighted that term.
Yeah.
So I use deviation gene, and basically in this universe, there's all sorts of origins for superheroes. So it's not just deviation genes. There's also technology superheroes, some that are caused by radiation, some by magic, like all of the normal superhero tropes. But and some people have pointed out that their costume looks a lot like DC's Catwoman or maybe Marvel's Black Cat. So the important thing about Siamese is that I write them with their own characterization, their own behaviors and personalities, so that I can easily differentiate them from someone like Catwoman. Certainly they are inspired by those characters. I've been reading comic books for 47 years. So there's no doubt.
It's hard not to pull from the stuff that you've been reading for so long. And
yeah, and it would also, I think, be impossible to create a character today that didn't have some similarity to what has gone before somewhere.
Yeah.
With 80 to 90 years, history of comic books, good luck creating anything that doesn't have some similarity to the past.
Yeah, and not only that too, but just with the sheer content available now, even like books, movies, all this kind of stuff, you're subconsciously pulling from stuff. So
yeah, good point. Yes, so I don't mind saying that this could very well be an homage to what I've read before. I try to style my writing after, and I'm not saying I'm as good as, but I try to emulate like Marv Wolfman when he was on the New Teen Titans in the early 80s, or Chris Claremont when he was on the Uncanny X-Men. And the reason I say that is what I want to do is I want to set these characters up with a family feel. Maybe they're great friends. There's still conflict between them. They're going to argue. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to have a civil war every other month like some company does, where everybody's trying to kill each other. But they'll argue. They'll have differences of opinion. They want to approach maybe a situation or a tragedy from a different angle. So everything's not going to be roses. On the other hand, I also want to create an idea that these people like being superheroes. They're not angst-ridden, oh, I wish I didn't have this power, oh, I wish this didn't happen to me. Some of them are excited about it and like doing it. So I want to, portray that as well.
Yeah, I was talking with Andy Smith on a interview very, very briefly. I got on one with him, and he brought up a very good point where back in like the 80s, early 90s, the comic book was essentially, especially Marvel, certain parts of it was a soap opera. And I started thinking back to when I was collecting and which books I was collecting. And you had, The Amazing Spider-Man, which really focused on Spider-Man, not so much on Peter Parker. And I was collecting the Spectacular Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. And as soon as Andy said that, my brain clicked. I was like, oh, yeah, I collected Spectacular because that was more to do with Peter Parker and his day-to-day with the Daily Bugle. So they did a really smart thing back then when they would segue into that and be like, oh, this is the stuff where he's actually talking with his office workers and not doing the fantastic things that the Amazing Spider-Man does. This is, Peter and his day-to-day, and then just the weird interconnections of how that relates to Spider-Man.
Yes. It would be hard to disassociate the two, but maybe he had to compartmentalize some of the time.
Yeah. And I thought they did a really good job of that. Like, it never really clicked until Andy said that, and I was just like, oh, that's the whole reason why I was buying it, because that was the normal life, and that made it a little bit more interesting with the collection of going on. And back in the day too, the editing crew kind of had a tighter clinch on what was going on, it seemed. So there wasn't stuff that was like, out of the realm, crossing over into things where it shouldn't be. Writers not writing out a character. So
right. That's a great point. I was just going to say that was back when the writers cared about the history of the characters and their true characterization. They didn't take 30 years of history and just toss it out the window and throw something else in the mix that didn't even fit.
Yeah, and it's a shame that things have gone the way that they have, but in that leaves opportunity for people like us to come along and be like, hey, you might have fallen out of favor with that, but I know deep down you still like this kind of stuff, so here, take a chance on something that I got going on.
Right. Yes. And I'm encouraged by the support from the CG community and a few people that outside the CG community, but the fact that I launched less than 2 days ago and I'm at 84% is it's exciting, it's thrilling, and at the same time it's humbling, because wow, how great is that many people have feel confident in what I plan to bring to them without ever having read something I've written.
Mm-hmm. It definitely goes to show that the market is there to give people a chance, which is totally awesome. And the fact that you have all 4 issues of this ready to go, that already helps seal some confidence in the ability to get the product out. So,
right.
Let's take a quick look at the trailer here.
Yes, please.
Let's pop this on.
From Dojo-kun Comics comes Siamese, the story of 2 Chinese-American college graduates whose deviation gene makes them extraordinary enough to become superheroines. This trade paperback combines the 4-issue Siamese miniseries previously published by Dojo-kun Comics. As our ladies discover their newfound power, we'll be introduced to other Dojo-kun Comics characters such as the Countryman, Breathtaker, Brickhouse, the Scarlet Archer, and Psionica. Dojo-kun Comics has released over a dozen comics so far. You can pledge with confidence knowing that obligations will be fulfilled. Superheroes are coming back. Don't miss out on Siamese.
Dope. Yeah, it's tight, man. Dig that. I saw with the deviation, they turn into potential like werewolf, werecat type.
Werecat, yes.
Yeah.
That's actually against their will. So
okay.
That's in issue 4. So that's part of the trade paperback. And and in fact, they also, between the 2 of them, argue about whether or not they should get the antidote.
Oh, okay. One of them seems to like it a little bit more than the other, maybe.
Right. Yeah. One sees it as a problem, and the other's like, "No, this is cool." So, yeah, there's some conflict there as well.
Nice. Hey, we got Nefarious in the chat there. What up, Nefarious?
Hello, Nefarious.
Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I like the way that you have it set up. Now, with the artist that you have on this, is this the same artist that is doing the next project that you're doing, or have you picked somebody else up for that? Or
Oh, well, first of all, there's two different artists here for the
oh,
trade
okay,
paperback. Issues 1 and 2 were by Mike Salter. He's a fine art portrait painter, though, that I gathered in to work on comic books for the first time.
okay.
And I thought he did a pretty good job.
Hmm.
I found him in a nursing magazine, as a matter of fact. He did a comic book esque advertisement for a nursing program. I was in a hospital waiting room and saw it in the book, and I contacted the ad agency and said, "Hey, could you get me in touch with the artist?" And so that was a roundabout way to find an artist.
Man, any
And
which way you can, man.
that's right. Um, he's working with me as a matter of fact. Right now, he's working on a short story for me. So although he had to step away from Siamese because a huge commission came in to paint a portrait,
Yeah.
He still is interested in working with me when he's got an opportunity. And then for issues 3 and 4, I found Zilson Costa in Brazil. So to answer your question, though, yes, Zilson is working with me still and doing a great job on several other projects. One of which will be, it's called The Shifter. I have an exclusive license with an award-winning novelist to turn her trilogy of the Healing Wars into comic book form. So
Oh, cool.
he'll be working on that, and he's also working on snippets in one of my anthology books. So, and he's really really good at interpreting my scripts. The way I wrote it, he's dead on when he sends me his pages.
That's awesome. Yeah, it definitely helps when people know the craft of comic books. It helps lessen the time, and speaking the lingo too, like that can really help. Like, did you notice that there's any kind of like communication breakdown between you and the portrait artist in the beginning?
Yeah, there was a little bit because obviously his focus was very different before working in comics. But he had a good feel for, I mean, I'm a pretty good communicator, so he and I established a rapport pretty quickly. And then with Zilson, there's just a little bit of a language barrier, not much. He's pretty good with English. I've got to steer away from slang and things like that, though, to make sure that I speak clearly for him.
Yeah, because that kind of stuff gets lost in translation so quick.
Sometimes, yes. Hail, Michael. Yeah, I'm excited about where we're at.
Yeah, 84% there, Bancroft. Welcome, Michael.
Yeah, we launched on Michael's show, and we got a great start right there as well.
Yeah, man. I'm really stoked on how Michael's show is. It's how can I put it? Like you got the normal big CG guys, and like it's like Michael's literally like a click below that now. Like he's not that much more into being into those big guys now, which is awesome.
Yeah, what Michael does that I still think is great is he interacts with the chat, and he still has that opportunity. Some of the ones that you're alluding to are so huge, the chat goes by so quickly they couldn't possibly keep up with it.
Yeah, it's like watching Twitch streams. You know, it's like, oh, there's 10,000 viewers, and the chat's just like,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, but thankfully for that too. Like they do have enough excellent mods that kind of help rein it in, and that's the power of mods too that a lot of people forget about. Is when you do have a chat that's going crazy like that, they're the ones that are able to kind of like circle back around and pull something up and be like, hey, check this out. And
right, they're able to pick out things that the host may be interested in commenting on.
Exactly, because like and then it's funny too because you have the two conversations. You have the actual conversation on screen, and then you have the chat conversations, which more times than not is more hilarious than what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. That's very entertaining sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the de-wrenching of Black Rose Comics last night on.
Oh yeah, I was there. Yeah. I was on the, I'll call it the temporarily losing side. It's going into appeal.
Oh, so I came in, and then B Rose was like, "Vote for me, vote for me." I'm like, "What's going on here?" So I just like, I was like, "All right, what's going on?" And then I didn't know that it was the de-wrenching, like the trial, and I was like, "Oh, that's what it is." Oh, okay.
Right. It was fun.
Yeah, it was super funny. Yeah, I was. And that's the other thing too, is like little weird funny things like that. Like you go onto other chats, other streams that are outside of CG, and it just doesn't seem like that, you know? Like
Right. Yeah, this is a very close-knit community. We're welcoming when someone new pops in. We're like, hey, how you doing? Glad to see you. Michael always makes sure to greet them if he sees them.
yeah.
So yeah, I love this community, and it's super supportive, man. A lot of people with advice and help, and although I argue that we're kind of competitors because there's a finite amount of dollars out there.
Oh
At
yeah.
the same time, we are in such cooperation. The co-op, how did somebody say co-op editors or something like that?
Yeah, because somebody, if you have something going on, somebody will be like, "Hey, you got this thing. It looks awesome, but I think you should look at this particular thing and take
Hmm.
notice of it."
Right.
There's how could it be friendly advice given that a lot of places, like I've noticed on the Facebook forums and Facebook chats, like nobody's willing to really talk that much. Uh, Although on How to Draw Comics, the Barton brothers, their Facebook group is fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're not on Facebook, definitely give them a check out there, because there is a lot of really, really good artists and a lot of wicked talent just on that particular forum as well that hasn't really crossed over.
Yeah, I've been on Facebook for quite a while. I'm actually just within the last few days when the campaign went live, for example, I hit up all the groups that I belong to that are comic book related to let everyone know that it's live.
Yeah.
And as I posted it there, I counted them. I'm in 51 such groups.
Yeah. And just a quick question on that. Did you notice any negative feedback at all on there, or just because of it being associated with CG at all?
No, but I also don't make that. I don't lean on that much. I mean, if I'm asked, I'll definitely say I'm CG. But understanding that some people are adverse to that, I try not to highlight that much.
Yeah. I know with Facebook, just because I've seen it happen lots too, where people are just like, I got kicked out just for mentioning I was CG.
Oh.
Yeah. But I find with a lot of things, if your stuff is awesome and kick ass, there's no denying that, like if you lean on something that looks dope, people are just like, I can't really get mad at that because it looks awesome. Like,
I hear you. Yep. I'm one of those that's dead set against Kickstarter, but just recently there was a campaign that I saw an interview on one of the CG adjacent channels, and he was launching in Kickstarter, and I got to tell you, I had to back it. It's just beautiful art, great concept, seems like a great guy. So I went against my own, I'll say it, my own stance, and went ahead and backed it.
Yeah, that's a testament to, like, if something's dope, something's dope. Like, just pure and simple. Kind of like a swing back around, though, back to Kickstarter and things that shouldn't be on there. You had a little hand in helping out a friend of ours there, Vinny.
Yes. Somebody tried to commit fraud by completely copying his Indiegogo campaign and posting it on Kickstarter as if it was their own.
Yep.
Several people brought it to their attention, and Kickstarter said, that doesn't violate our terms of service. It's like, how could it not?
And it's not the first time that's happened either. Like happened with Ethan. Somebody did a fake Cyberfrog thing. Not once, but I think twice. And the second one was like had nothing to do with Cyberfrog. They were just using the name, just trying to like leech off of it. It seemed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like I'm using this as a crutch, but because I'm a certified fraud examiner, when I see fraud, I'm obliged to report it.
Yep.
So I reported it to Kickstarter. They ignored me. I talked to Vinny about it, and he said, yeah, they said that about their terms of service. So I'm like, well, then I have to report it to the Federal Trade Commission. And I advised Vinny that how he could do so as well. So the two of us both reported it.
Yep.
And within 3 hours, it was down.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
super props to you for doing that, because on the internet, sometimes it's just like shouting into the wind that it seems like, and so having somebody who knows the ins and outs of that, you are very invaluable for things going on like that.
I was happy to help. Like I said, I felt obliged, and at the same time, I thought it was the right thing to do. And although Vinny and I didn't know each other really well at that point, we were starting to build a rapport, and I thought this is a great opportunity for me to support someone in the community. So I also did it for that reason as well.
Yeah, no, that's badass, man. Oh, we got Happy Jam Jam in here. Hey, Happy Jam Jam, what's going on?
Hail, Happy Jam Jam. Thanks for being here.
Let's see, Michael Bancroft. What would I say that? In CG hostile environments, better to lead by example. You catch more flies with honey. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
CG only, but we should be encouraging people to enjoy things they like. Yep, definitely. Not a CG fan, or I'm a CG fan, not an indie comics fan. If I find something I like, I'll definitely hop on it. But I'm pretty particular as is. So. But yeah, I want to encourage people to enjoy things. Totally.
Good point, Darren. Yep.
Yeah, it's well, that's why we all like comic books, is because they bring us that joy, man. Like there's that like I'm in my 40s. I'm still chasing after this thing. Like, it's something I wanted to do ever since I was like 13, 14 years old, sitting in the middle of the woods in northern Alberta, being like, I want to be an artist. What can I do? As I read my comic books, I'm like, wait a minute, somebody had to draw these. I could draw these.
There you go.
And then I was watching The Wonderful World of Disney Sunday night, 6 p.m. And then they did a segment on animators. And then there was another light bulb. It was like, oh yeah, people got to draw cartoons. And then I saw what they did, and I was like, I don't want to draw cartoons.
Yeah. Wow, that seems laborious.
Well, funny thing is right now I'm doing a fully animated trailer for my next crowdfunding campaign. So I ended up doing the thing I tried to avoid anyway.
Yeah, but that'll be kick-ass.
Yeah, man, I'm having a lot of fun with it, learning a lot, which is, for me, that's a big thing. If I'm not learning while I'm doing something, why am I doing it? Like, there's no reason for me to do it. If it's just for making money, I get to go do 1,000 other things. I need to be adding to the skills. So, hopping on to the whole animation thing, it was just like, all right, I've never really animated. I've done storyboards before. I quit being a tattoo artist, went to storyboard animation for a couple of years, so learned a couple tricks in there, but that's storyboarding and animatics, not actual animation. So,
gotcha.
Throwing myself into the deep end here. But speaking of the deep end, let's take a look at your campaign here.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Scroll down here. You get that soft scroll. Oh, look at that. Oh, you got a Barton Bros hardcover variant. Nice.
That's right. Yep. It's limited edition. And how many? It looks like 20. How many have been claimed? I can't quite see that.
Yeah, 20 are gone. You got 30 left. That's man, that's dope. That's going super quick.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, don't mind me and my drinking coffee. I got a really, really dry throat. No COVID, just dry throat.
Oh, okay. I've got an arm that's just killing me because I had the first vaccine yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, when I first got it, I was like, it was no problem whatsoever. But a few hours later, I'm like, oh, man, I could hardly move my arm.
Like the old booster shots from the 50s.
Right. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yep.
Yeah, because I remember my aunts talking about it when they got it in school, and like they had the big scar from it and stuff like that too.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
The three dots in their arm. Yep. So right here, we jump right into the action. This is the splash panel of issue number 1. So page 1 of number 1, and the girls are ready to foil a museum heist.
Nice.
So yeah, I jump right into the action because I'd like people to get excited about it right away. The origin story comes later in the series. There is some characterization when they're in their civilian outfits and etc. So I want to set them up. One's an architect, one is a sculptor. There's some scenes of them in their loft apartment, which I scoured the internet to find something that I thought would fit their personality perfectly, and they actually have a battle in their apartment. So a lot of home life, if you will, like I alluded to earlier, trying to get the family feel.
Nice. Oh man, I had a question that completely just out into the ether. Damn it, I hate it when that happens. Old age catching up to me.
Oh, I don't even want to hear it. You're only in your 40s.
I got lots left to lose, hey?
Right.
And this artist here, this is the portrait artist?
Yes, this is Mike Salter. This page here that you're getting to now is is the reveal of the supervillains that are actually in a subplot in the first issue. So this is a group, they're called the Elitists. They are a group of supervillain CEOs. And I've been joking in the streams that sounds redundant, I know, supervillain CEO. But what they try to do is they pass themselves off as petty thieves. And what they're actually doing is obfuscating the fact that they are corporate espionage agents.
Okay.
So if they go out and, let's say, for example, the company that the equestrian, she's the gal in the middle, if she has, you know, product A, B, and C, and they wreck her competition, her stock value can go up, et cetera, and her, you know, product offering becomes more in demand. So that's kind of what their goal is.
Yeah. So rather than letting the market take control of everything, they do their thing to control the market a little bit.
Right. It's manipulation. You're right.
Yeah. It's not like they do that or anything.
No, nobody does that.
Nobody does that.
This is only comic books, right?
Yeah, yeah. And we're living in a world where, like, there's been a couple times where I've been thinking, it's just like, if I was writing a comic book, this is kind of how it would be playing out right now. Like, what's the most weird, evil, villainous things that could be going on? And you just step back and you overlay it on everything. It's like, oh, I don't have to write anything. It's all playing in real time.
Watch the news. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I like the characters you got here. I like this dude here that's in the wingsuit. That's
a plastic polymer that can become hard as steel or malleable. He can turn into weapons. He's Continental Jet.
Oh, cool.
So the names I picked here, I chose names that were all sort of related to elitist or luxury items, like timepiece there on the upper left.
Watercraft.
That would be like watercraft, like a yacht, for example. Yeah. Continental Jets, you know, the rich and famous own Lear jets. Gemstone is at the bottom left. So yeah, you get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I dig the design on Continental Jet. Kind of has a vibe of old Silverhawks to me.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
Yeah. And then, let's see, we got Gilbert Monsanto regular cover. Got 6 of those claimed. Arias Hernandez variant. Got a couple of those claimed. Isaiah Bradley variant. Yeah, you got a couple variants on there. That's awesome. And a little bit of TNA going on. Gotta like that.
Yeah, there is some fun stuff going on in that issue right there. That's the splash page of issue number 2. And that TSA agent, obviously, he's frisking her in places that she couldn't be hiding something, but he's having his fun. Yeah. And the other TSA agent there is discovering something in their suitcase that has her attention. We'll just say that the batteries are involved.
Yeah, I was kind of going not the first time like that. Something's happened at airport security.
Right. I'm sure they have lots of stories.
Oh man, I could only imagine.
I know one time I had gone on a business trip and I had visited a local comic store, which I always try to do when I'm on a business trip. And the TSA agent on my way home opened my suitcase and pulled out a stack of comics and kind of looked at him like, holy crap, just put it back down. What?
Business or pleasure? Both.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I always found that funny when we were able to go to cons and stuff like that, and going to San Diego Comic Con and like business or pleasure. And it's just like, oh, both. Where are you going? Going to a comic book convention, and then eyes just glaze over, like, get the hell out of here. Like,
yeah. All right, go away, nerd.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then we got a little bit of a battle going on here. Who's this charged up dude?
Yeah, he's a weather manipulator. I call him Rain, which sounds pretty simplistic, but that's an homage to the Beatles. It's a B-side of one of their singles.
Oh, okay. And is this villain going to be like a constant, or is it just a one-time thing for this particular instant? Then
he's definitely going to be recurring. Yep.
Oh, nice.
In fact, upon his capture, it sort of sets up Deanna Hammer of the Angels, the next miniseries.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that you got everything weaving and leading into each other.
I've got so this miniseries leads into Deanna, Hammer of the Angels, which is a 4-issue miniseries. Like I told you, we're already got number 1 almost done, and then when that one concludes, it'll lead into my ongoing team book called Trident's New Alliance, and I've got 7 of those scripts written already too.
Nice. No, that's awesome. Yeah, super smart that you're getting ahead of the game with the scripts. That way, it's just a matter of finding the artists, getting stuff lined up, and then with this, you can kind of see and get a gauge of what's going on. And your second one, it seems to be that the first one, everyone just wants to be like, all right, can this person pull it off? And then the second one seems to be a lot more fanfare.
Right, right. One of the things that I've always heard is that the art will draw you to the book, and the writing will bring you back to it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's the case.
So with writing and stuff, is this your first foray into writing, or you've been writing stuff in the past, or
Well,
always dabbling with stuff, making stuff
yeah.
up? And
Years ago, I wrote a She-Hulk script and I was trying to find how I would submit that to Marvel. And the short story is you don't. They say basically in their site, go get published and we'll find you. So I worked for 2 small press comic book companies before starting my own. Sorry. And so I've written Shadow Faction. I've written The Commander for those comic books, and then started my own company. And so I've been at this for 6 years now and written more than a dozen comics.
Nice. So you're getting all your the things you enjoy writing about dialed in.
Right.
Yeah, that's another big thing with this stuff too, is finding the stuff that excites you as a creator. Like if you're not excited on the thing you're doing, then why are you doing it?
Yeah, a lot of people recently have been saying, write the things that you would want to read, because if you do that, your passion will shine through.
Exactly.
Yo, Mo Biggs.
Mo Biggs, what up? Yeah, no, it's a it's a very important thing that I think if you're chasing the dollar, then you're not doing the thing. The reason that we're all here. I assume you, like me, have been wanting to do this for a very, very long time.
Oh yeah, I started collecting and reading comics when I was 7.
Nice. Yeah, going to the grocery store or to the local gas station, picking a couple up, I assume.
Right, yeah. The very first time was on the way to Florida. We were in 7-Eleven to buy some snacks for the trip because we drive. And I was standing at the spinner rack, and Dad said, go ahead and pick out a few. So I picked out an Amazing Spider-Man and an Uncanny X-Men.
Oh,
and
nice.
I've been hooked ever since.
Yep. Do you still have them, or?
I do. Yes,
awesome.
They're pretty beat up, but and after having sold a lot of my comics, I'm never going to part with those first 2 because they have sentimental value.
Yeah, man, I wish I would have understood at the time growing up, but also where I grew up too, comics were a very disposable thing, so they weren't cherished by any means. So my uncles would always collect a Savage Sword of Conan the Barbarian. So there was always a stack of those kicking around, but they were always beat up, folded over, put in the back pocket kind of thing,
Oh man.
Yeah. So so my first comics that I actually got the exact same treatment, and I didn't know any better. So I just thought that I guess that's how comic books are treated. And and I'd be reading the crap out of it. And there was a Marvel team up with Captain America and Spider-Man where they're fighting vermin.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Where they had the photo cover, because back in the 80s they were doing this stint of photo covers.
That cover was so lame.
It was
the
so
characters
lame.
They were so far out of proportion with the background they were in.
but for me as a kid, it drew me in because I was like, oh, this is what it would look like if they were real. They look ridiculous, but they're on a rooftop, and being from the northern woods of Alberta, it's I guess this is what they'd be like in the actual city. Let me get this. This looks interesting.
There you go.
Let's skim on down here. Yeah, I saw this. This is badass, man. Them in their mutated state, kicking ass.
So yeah, the Doberman hear from a distance that guy that she's holding sort of a limp arm, they hear that he's in trouble, so they come running to help, and then they encounter the girls in that state, and they're like, yeah, hmm.
So the one here is say, look, sister, more meat. So
Right.
in this state, I assume they are much more feral.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, as kick-ass as they are in their human form, you almost don't want them to be in this form, I assume. And you got some perks going on. Yeah, let's see, digital copy.
Yeah, the digital copy, some people have been snapping that up. That's great. I know some people prefer that. Some people want to avoid insane shipping. I know you up in Canada can attest to that.
Brutal.
So that's why I made that available. I personally don't like the digital. I'll go ahead and pay the shipping, but I understand that some people do.
Yeah. Yeah, especially for certain overseas too. Like it's an arm and a leg just to ship it out, no matter where you're at in the States, right. Canada, UK. Especially now too, with everything going the way that it is. It's like they're like, oh, we can just charge more for everything. It's like, can you not? Can you not do that?
Can you not? That's a good question.
Yeah, and especially with somebody backing up the Suez Canal there with their boat logging it sideways, putting a little kink in everything. Siamese trade back, and that's the regular cover right there.
Right. So that art is by Gilbert Monsanto, and that middle pin up there of the Siamese, you'll see on a lot of the different perk and add-on swag too.
Mm-hmm. Now, for that particular one, are you going to be doing stickers of this one right here, or?
I do have stickers. I have chibi stickers as well. I'm going to see what kind of interest there is in stickers like this.
Yeah, let's blow you up there. How do I blow you up there? There it is. Beep. Nice.
So, yeah, it's just I've got a bunch of those. I asked for some samples.
Nice.
So this variant here by Arias Hernandez, I'm working with him on another book. He is a Filipino artist who reached out to me and asked if I would publish his comic book under my banner because Indiegogo doesn't allow for campaigns in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. He is a former Disney animator, though. He worked on Tarzan, The Lion King, and Kim Possible.
Okay.
His book, he's got 64 issues of his book already published in the Philippines.
Oh,
It's in Tagalog, though, the language of the Philippines. So what he's doing is he's translating them to English the best he can, and then I'm doing the editing for proper English grammar, punctuation, things like that.
Yeah.
And they will be under the Dojo Kun banner. I can't say exactly how soon that'll be. He's experiencing some difficulties in his country, so as soon as we possibly can, we're going to gather probably 4 or 5 of them at a time to put in a trade paperback.
That's awesome. Yeah, and for the campaigns and stuff out there too, like somebody out in the Philippines, if a campaign like that does well here, that is a world of difference for somebody out there.
Oh, yes.
Like, I know when I was working for animation, one of the things that we ended up doing, like the company that I was working for, the company's called Top Draw, I believe, and they're a Filipino animation company. So a lot of the stuff will get storyboarded out here. And then it gets sent out to the Philippines to be animated because Japan is too expensive now, Korea is too expensive now, and the Philippines is the tier where even a lot of the Japanese and the Korean guys are sending their stuff to get done because A, the workforce is there, B, they're like they get it done good, which is a big thing, especially with animation. One of the things that I learned in animation is like back in the day, you used to be a storyboard artist, and then you'd give it to the animator, and there was a bit of a back and forth play that could happen, and the animator could put their own, personalization into the animation, which is how you ended up with a lot of that was really a really cool scene. Now it's not like that because the production deadline, the timeline is so stringent that the storyboards are essentially first pass animation now. They're keyframes. So there's no deviation anymore. So you have to get it bang on in the storyboards. That way, when it goes to the animators, because it's overseas and there could be a breakup in communication, they're like, no, you have to have the storyboards bang on, so that way they can just do their job. And I'm like, but doesn't that just take away from the the love of the craft? Like you're taking an essential part out of it. Like you're not letting the animator actually animate.
Potentially, I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
But from a production side, I see why they're doing it, because it's focused, it's streamlined, and everything is on a brutal deadline.
Yeah, a lot of things are about the metrics anymore.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be coming back around slowly, because I think we've been seeing a lot of what corporate does and like how far they're willing to strain that system. And we're starting to see the strain happen. And I think we're going to see a lot of indie companies, even just with like comic books, but I think we're going to see a lot of animation companies start popping up that are going to be like, you know what? We're going to be a small team. We're going to do good work, but we're only going to do projects that we are completely stoked on because we can handle that workload.
Ooh, maybe there'll be a CG animation.
Don't be surprised if give it like 3 years. I'm gonna put my my chips in the 3-year mark there.
Okay.
It's gonna happen. Somebody is gonna want to animate something. Somebody is gonna be like, you know what? I have enough knowledge. Like Jose Garcia with his Lumina Vox coming out. He's worked for Disney. He's worked for DreamWorks. He knows his stuff inside and out. I can almost guarantee he's got a couple people that he can call up on and be like, hey, we got a small animation project. Do you want to be part of it?
I'll bet he could. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't put it outside the realms of possibility. I give it a couple years just because, organizing that stuff is like as bad as a comic book is, trying to herd the cats, with artists and everything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's like that, but even more cracking of the whip with animators.
Right. Hey, Dean's in the chat. Good day, mate.
Hey, we're checking Comics Mate up and this. Let's browse down here a little bit more. And this is the Isaiah Bradley cover. That's dope. Dig that.
Yeah, it's a static cover, obviously, but it really is dynamic because those shards of concrete look like they're coming right out at you.
Mm-hmm. This dude here with the awesome cop stash is catching my eye.
That's Brickhouse. He's a shapeshifter. He goes from a regular human to a hulking brute of a stone man.
Nice. Yeah, it's the shades and the handlebar mustache. I dig it. He seems almost like the most cartoonish out of all of them.
Yeah, I can see why you'd say that. Yeah, he's fun to write.
Yeah, and I assume just the fact that he he's the literal brick house of everything. He doesn't take anything from anybody. Kind of does what he wants.
This is true. Yep. In fact, when he's first encountered, he's a bouncer at a casino.
Oh, okay. Kind of the Mr. Fix-It character.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yep.
Nice. Let's see. What do we got here? Mo Biggs, it's going to take a lot of crack smoking on Comics Mate to beat the competition. Right. If it fails, try to move in the Comic Skate time slot. Everybody's trying to get their groove on. And Bruno Hatano, another artist he got on the go.
Yes. Now Bruno is working on a project with me that it's going to be, let's say, a bit controversial. So the SJWs are going to hate it. But if you remember the old Marvel swimsuit editions, picture the Dojo-kun comics characters in a swimsuit edition, but they don't have their swimsuits.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, I mean, that's not for everyone, but for those of you who do like such a thing, I don't know exactly how quickly that'll come out. I'd say it's about 25% done. So I'm not giving that one a top priority. I'm going to just make sure that one is the way it needs to be. And in fact, one of the things I wanted to mention about that is I'm actually selecting a few of the characters from my comic universe who opted out. They'll be like toward the end, they'll be fully in their costumes as if to say, we wanted to be here to support our sisters, but we chose not to be in these poses.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. It's like, we're here, but we're not here.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. And with that project, Is that full comic book, or is that going to be pinups?
That's going to be a probably 22 to 48 pages of pinups only.
Oh, okay, cool.
But there will be some narration, so that it will be as if it's called Cobra Lily Bedchambers. So my supervillainess Cobra Lily will be, I'll call it the host of that comic, and she will be like narrating the whole thing.
Oh, okay, cool. It's kind of got like a crypt keeper vibe, but with hot chicks
with AAT.
yeah. Can't go wrong with that. That's awesome. And for that, are you going to be doing any kind of like fan submissions or anything like that, or is it?
Oh, I like that idea. That'd be great. Yeah, I'll take that into consideration.
Yeah, because there's always people wanting to draw hot ladies. So
I know Boob Dan Art would be in on that, and Booty Juice would be in on that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no shortage of people wanting to draw some nice fine TNA.
Right.
And from the looks of it, aside from Siamese, it looks like you have a couple ladies in there that have great personalities.
Yes, yeah. The one in the middle there is named Breathtaker for, I hope, obvious reasons. And the one in the purple with like the psionic around her head, she's a telepathic telekinetic. She's psionica.
Nice. And I assume they all team up at some point?
Yes, these characters are all introduced throughout the miniseries, but they will all be part of that team book I was talking about called Trident's New Alliance.
Oh, okay.
And just a few moments ago, you mentioned how people like to draw TNA.
Yeah.
Trident's New Alliance. TNA.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, you can almost like animate that, so it's like the banner runs across, and then just those 3 letters pop out individually.
Yeah, exactly. Nice call. Yep.
Yeah, I whenever I'm drawing or stuff like that, like a lot of my stuff is actually like visually moving in my head. So
okay,
yeah. So when I was doing my comic book, Caius, like while I'm drawing it in my head, I'm playing it out as if it's an animation. So if you read it, it reads. If you think of it running as an animation, it almost reads that way. So the timing and the beats and stuff like that work.
So hopefully you'll notice as you're reading Siamese, I went to the Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts. I was a disc jockey for a couple of years, but we also did video production and video broadcast. And so a lot of what I'm doing when I'm writing a comic is I'm picturing as if I'm writing a screenplay. So a lot of what I'm visualizing is how would this look on screen? And that's what I'm writing for, so that the right kind of beats, as you know, how would this look if I was seeing this in a live action form?
Yeah. One of the best things that I heard for getting the beats down, there's a book out there, I can't remember what it is, but there was this one guy named Brian McDonald, and he talks about one particular book, but then he brought up something that kind of blew my mind. He's like, the perfect pilot episode of something is Cheers, the first episode of Cheers, because you get everybody introduced in the first 5 minutes and you know exactly who everyone is.
Oh, okay. Like
right off the get-go, from the first character introduced right into the bar, it goes through everybody. Norm comes in, Rhea Perlman comes in with her character, Shelley Long comes in with her character, and then within those first like 5 to 7 minutes, the world is set up. And then the rest of the episode plays out how it should, and is like as far as like a tight 22 minutes, it's locked in, and is like, that's how you write comedy. That's how you write a pilot episode. And I was like, holy crap. And then I watched it again. I was like, yeah, he's right. This is like bang on.
Another one, although they didn't air the pilot episode first like they should have, Fox screwed it up. But anyway, another pilot episode that was fantastic was Firefly.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever checked out Outlaw Star?
Oh, no, I haven't heard of that.
Okay, so Outlaw Star is an anime, 90s anime, which Joss Whedon pulled extremely heavily from.
Did he? Okay.
Oh, yes. So if you ever get a chance, check out Outlaw Star. You'll see a lot of the parallels in Firefly. Obviously, it's got that Western vibe to it as well, very cowboy-esque. But when you see it, you're like, oh, that's an exact shot from Firefly.
Wow. Okay.
Even what's her name? Who's the girl that they're trying to rescue? River, is that her name?
Oh yes, the one
Okay.
that Simon smuggles onto the ship.
Yeah, and she's smuggled in a suitcase and she's in the thing.
Right.
That is a direct rip from Outlaw Star.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the fact that she's like some kind of like enhanced creature, enhanced being, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, in Outlaw Star, that creature, that being is actually the ship's brain.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, so there's you can see where he's pulled and bent stuff because once you see it, you can't unsee it. But definitely give Outlaw Star a look, just because it's anime and it's ridiculous, and there's a lot of fun to be had. But then it also gets like, it does that weird thing where you think it's dumb for so long, and then at some point it shifts, and you're like, oh, this got really intense and really serious. What the hell just happened? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the characters, like do things that are just like, in a moment of weakness, the character shifts, and you're like, oh, that guy is shitty. Oh man. Just gonna take a quick look through the chat here. Let's bring up some stuff here. Where do we go here? The case fell apart when B Rose confessed to every charge on his own stream minutes before. That's funny. Yeah, that didn't help either. Poor B Rose. Yeah, the whole B Rose situation is unfortunate. Made me sad face. Now, what were the charges again? Extreme weebery?
Degenerate weebery.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Corruption of a minor and heresy.
Corruption of a minor.
Yeah, NTM Comics.
Oh, okay.
But it was argued that he was corrupted before B Rose did anything. He was corrupted by Corey Barton. So. But there was bribery going on. There was conflict of interest. It was a crazy night.
Yeah, I didn't know the full extent of the case against B Rose there. I'm proud of Skip getting his rent back. Yeah, that was the other highlight of the show. That the prodigal son returned. The Phoenix re-rose.
Well, I was wondering, is Skip a creator or a fan?
Is Skip a creator?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Because Michael was saying that he was only going to wrench people that were not creators.
I'm pretty sure that he's a creator. I'll have to double check. Like I said, me and my old age and all the things I got going on, I forget a lot of things.
You with the old age thing again.
Yeah.
I'm not quite old enough to be your dad, but dang it.
Dang it, boy.
That's right. Get off my lawn.
Yeah. State history. Glad I was there for it. If I'm not receiving, said, no, doing a stream like it's fucking. Hail Skip. Nice. If anime protagonists were known for smoking crack instead of snorting coke, bros would smoke crack every day. Oh man. At least everybody in the chat is having a blast on this. That's awesome.
That's right.
Speaking of having a blast, I wanted to bring up your website here because you're doing one thing that I think is super important that a lot of CG creators should be doing, and that is getting outside of just the Indiegogo bubble and having a place separate from the YouTube and Indiegogo for people to find you. And definitely having your own website, I think, is going to become very, very important here coming up with the tides that seem to be shifting all over the place.
Right. Yeah, it would be foolhardy not to predict that. Who knows who and when things will get deplatformed.
Exactly.
So to assume that you can have all your eggs in one basket, like Twitter, Indiegogo, Facebook, you never know what's going to happen. So always branch out. People are now simulcasting on Twitch, for example. That's a great idea. Yep. Do what you can to diversify.
Yep. Plus, for people that aren't in the realm of YouTube or on Twitter and stuff like that, it is very, very easy to just be like, oh, here's my website. It is the equivalent of having the business card,
Right.
And super, super smart to have this set up. And that way, like you said, you can just point people here, show people what you're doing. And to somebody who's not initiated to CG, it's a nice way to let the gateway into that, because like I said, not everybody's watching every single stream. Like I can't even keep up anymore. Like
Funny you should mention that. Do you see that picture there of K Manifesto and me?
Yeah.
That is a link to our promo. We're starting our own channel. It will begin streaming on April 22nd.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, would you mind hitting that? It's pretty short. Uh-oh. Is it?
Oh. Is it muted? Yeah, that's because I have the sound off. That's why.
Okay.
Let's just do this and unmute site. There we go.
Mind.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning.
The K Manifesto Show with Dojo Kun Comics was developed with fans and creators of independent comics in mind. For many of us, comic books are the greatest medium for storytelling, and we want to experience that excitement of comics with you. Join us in the chat each week as we discuss topics related to indie comics and crowdfunding. We'll feature interviews with some of the best creators of indie comics. Whether you're a fan, a creator, or a seasoned crowdfunder, the K Manifesto Show with Dojo Kun Comics has you covered. Be sure to subscribe to get notifications of every episode that drops. The K Manifesto Show with Dojo Kun Comics.
Right on, man. That looked dope.
Thank you.
The presentation on that, that's awesome.
So yes, we're leaning into our strengths. K Manifesto, his day job is video production for a government. And my strength, like I mentioned a little while ago, I was in broadcasting as a disc jockey for a while. So
you got the gab going on there.
That's right. We're going to try to make that as polished as we can. And of course, we're going to learn along the way. But
yeah, from the looks of that, even just the setup of it, top notch, man. Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, I will definitely have to hit you up when I got Kaya's issue 1 and 2 ready to roll out there.
Absolutely. Yes. We're going to want creators on. It's going to be topic driven, a lot like Bancroft's model, but we're definitely have creators on there. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's well, another thing with that too is having the ability to branch out and reach beyond the CG crowd is a definite important thing for the growth of the movement.
We don't even just plan to reach out to comic creators. We're also plan to maybe reach out to vendors, folks that are maybe creating my keychains and things like that, just to say, hey, how many times have you worked with comic book creators? What do you think about that? What's your process? And even talk to them about, not only what's your process, but what's your manufacturing process? Like, give us some insight without giving away some secrets, but tell us more about how you do your thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to do with my channel here too. I reached out to the printers that did my comic book Caius. They're called Comic Impressions, and I was supposed to do an interview with the owner, Rich Boy, but he ended up catching COVID. So that was about 2 weeks ago. So I'm gonna catch up with him here pretty soon. I just want to make sure that he's all good and is able to actually do the interview. He was more than willing to. He was like, yeah, I'm pretty beat up. I can do the interview, but I don't think I'm going to be able to be top notch. I was like, no, I'm not going to make you interview while you're
right.
I'll catch up with you when you're all good, man.
Well, when he is, I'll be interested in watching that stream. Yeah.
Yeah, and they did a really, really bang up job on my books. And they actually do a lot of stuff that a lot of printers aren't willing to do, which is one of the reasons why I went with them. They do digital offset and traditional offset, which means that they're able to do low print run comics at a reasonable price. So part of my plan that I'm doing stuff is I'm doing variant covers, but I'm doing them in a different way. My variant covers are going to be unlocks. So I only have a block of, say book 1, print 1. And once those sell out, then that opens up the next variant. And then that lot will be available. And if those don't get sold out, those get carried over to the next campaign until those sell out. So that's the way that I'm doing my stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because and just because of the way that they do variants, it is an actual cost-effective way. So you don't have to order 500 variants or anything like that. It's very, very low cost. I think they do minimum orders of 50 to 100. So
that's not bad. Yeah.
Yep. And their turnaround time, 7 days.
That's great.
Once you have the print file fully agreed on and everything's greenlit and you give them the final okay, it's 5 to 7 days turnaround, which is ridiculous.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Comic Impressions, you said, right?
Yeah, Comic Impressions, really good guys, and they have the price calculator, kind of like Maxim or Mixum does on their site, and they also have a bunch of stuff that they don't have advertised, so you can just ask them straight up and be like, "Hey, what are the specialty papers you have? What is the foil you have?" One of the things that they started doing recently is the individual numbers. So before, if you ordered your book, you would just get your book, but now you can be like, "Hey, can I get all of these numbered? Like, this is number 1, number 2, all the way." So for me, having those print runs, I can have those pre-numbered now 1 through 300.
Okay.
So that way you're going to know, oh, I got number 47 of run 300 of that run.
Great.
And they also started doing fulfillment, because they're actually a fulfillment center originally that got into printing.
Huh. Okay.
And over COVID, they actually ended up having a lot of their business drop, their traditional business, and comic books is kind of the thing that pulled their ass out of the fire.
Hail comics.
Yeah, man. They went from comic books being something like 12% of their overall printing capabilities, and then COVID hit, and it bumped it right up to 50%. So
that's
literally great. Because of COVID, the majority of their business was almost all comic books now. Which is pretty awesome. And because they're dealing with people that actually know comic books, Scout Comics is kind of like one of their main spearheads. They're the ones who kind of brought them into it. So they have people who actually know about comic books being like, yo, if you're going to mail these out, put them in Gemini mailers, or, it's not a good scene. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll listen. And so they actually ship out in Gemini mailers. So they're aware.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's see what we've got. DWAG here. Compare them to scalpers, with scalpers taking advantage of limited availability of tickets to people's scalpers. I think there's soon reselling situation. People have issues like, oh, okay. We're talking about video games. But yeah, man, website's looking dope here. You got all the information leading people into the website. Shifter, that's the one that you were talking about earlier.
Yes, we've started working on that. We've got some pages in production. Hopefully you'll be hearing about that either later this year or early next.
Nice. Janice Hardy, the Healing Wars, cool. I like the panel layout on this, like the puzzle piece.
Yeah, that's Zilson's idea. That's pretty clever.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of interesting and easy to read panel layouts. And she's and he said that she's my brain's not working here. Not graphic novel. She's a novelist. Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah. It's like, come on, it's right there. And she's got the 3 books out already.
Oh yeah, she's in fact she's done some more novels since then, but this is her trilogy called The Healing Wars.
Cool.
And if I were to give an analogy or liken it to something else, I would say it's a lot like Divergent or the Hunger Games.
Oh, okay.
And wouldn't it be fantastic if I could get this series going, and then Hollywood reached out and live actioned her books?
Yeah, man. It's anything to help bolster the comic book community at this point, because as we see with the big two, they don't care that much about the comic book side anymore. So
yeah, they really don't.
Nope. So that leaves a great big opening for all of us indie creators to step in and be like, hey, man, we got stuff that we want to actually be doing here, and we want to be doing the comics.
Yes, sir.
And this is your team, your ragtag group.
Yeah, totally international. We've got Zilson from Brazil, H.G. Tobalina from Spain, Matthias Zanetti from Argentina, and then Rusty from Philadelphia.
Awesome. Yeah, man, this is great, dude. Got shirts. And this one here, what's this one? The Megan War.
The Megan War is the one I was alluding to earlier. That Arias Hernandez from the Philippines has 64 issues of that done.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So that's the one we'll be working on together under my banner.
Nice.
Team Up in Time Space, just real quick, is a whole mess of different individual indie creators that participated one of their characters to be a part of this commission and storyline. So my character Deanna Hammer of the Angels is in there.
Okay.
And then now you're to the section which is the Dojo Kun back catalog.
Nice.
And all of the comics that I've done before.
Right on, man. Yeah, that is awesome, dude. Well, I'm super stoked that you're kicking ass on this. Literally, like you're right there. You got 29 days left. Let's do a little refresh. Oh, look at that.
Hey, you got a backer. Thank you.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. I officially do not have any kind of tagline for any kind of bump. I don't have a tagline or a B-Rose tagline as of yet, but eventually we'll get there. Man, yeah, super stoked on this, man. Glad that you're part of CG.
Thank you.
And anything else that you want to talk about? I usually go for an hour. We've hit that super easy, super quick. Like,
yeah, right. I just noticed. I'm like, wow. I don't know if he wants to rep, but if we could just look just for a moment at the top tier.
This one right here, the feature tier.
Nope. If you scroll down to the $300 tier.
Oh, okay. Ooh, it's all the way down here.
Right.
Come on. There it is. Bam.
Right there, the Ultimate Kitty Box. So you'll get all 6 variants. You'll get the chibi stickers, the poker chip, the canvas print, the keychain, and 1 copy of all of the books that Dojo Kun Comics has already published.
Nice. The whole kit and caboodle.
The whole kit and caboodle. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, this tier really gets you the entire back catalog and gets you started great in the whole Dojo Kun connected universe.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's
awesome.
Hey,
Michael's got an idea for you, the Cardinal Catapult.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you, Michael. I'll use that as much as possible. I'm hoping to get back into streaming on a regular basis here. Took the past couple weeks off just because I got tattoo related stuff that I'm always doing, and that always conflicts with comic book stuff. So, just because both are extremely demanding.
Yes, sir.
And much like comic books, people are very particular about their tattoos. So,
absolutely, I've got some ink done too.
Oh, nice. What do you got on you?
I got the Superman shield.
Oh, dope. Yeah, I got an old Bart Sears Spider-Man on the back of my leg that my old mentor did. Even though I've been doing this for 20 years, like, I don't look the part, like.
Yeah, right.
Which is super funny because, like, back in the shop, people would come in and be like, yeah, I'd like to get a tattoo done. I was like, yeah. Oh, who would be doing it? I'm like, oh, that's me. And they'd give me the once over, because like I got jeans and a t-shirt, and they think I'm the counter guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's got the most experience in the shop? And I'm like, that'd be me. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, I've been tattooing for nearly 20 years. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, my portfolio is over there. And they're like, oh, you know what you're doing? It's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. But that classic, never judge a book by its cover. That's one of the reasons why I look the way I look, because I like messing with people, and especially with tattoos, they expect the neck done and everything all done up,
sleeves.
Yeah. I got plans for it down the road, but until then, it's still fun just being like, yep. Sit in the chair and like, does this guy even have any, man? Like, yeah. But yeah, man, any last words that you want to say? Where can people find you at? Obviously we can find you through Dojo Kun Comics, but other than that, where can we get a hold of you?
On Twitter, you can find me at Dojo Kun Comics. On Facebook, you can find both Brian Menard and Dojo Kun Comics. And then the website is dojokuncomics.wixsite.com/Dojo Kun Comics. And then as far as last words, again, you know, a lot of you folks in the chat have heard me talk about Siamese before. So of you, Ryan, I want to express my appreciation every time I get the opportunity for your support, your encouragement, and honestly, your friendship. It's been just humbling experience. It's great.
Oh man, I'm just glad that there's creators out there that are willing to come on, hang out, talk about their stuff. You know, a big part of this too is just having that one-on-one, you know, getting the vibe, because I think a lot of this is selling yourself as well. Like,
agreed.
You can have the best looking product on the face of the planet, but if you're like, you know, a stick in the mud or, you know, a bump on the log, that's going to affect your overall sales. And, you know, and if that's the case, you should always just be like, you know, like, I'm over here.
You know what? I agree wholeheartedly. There have been times where I've been on the fence as to whether or not I wanted to back a project. And then when I see an interview like the one you're conducting with the creator, I end up backing it because I like the creator. So I was on the fence. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe I will. And oh, this guy is great. I'm backing it.
Yeah, no, and it makes a big difference too, just having that little personal one-on-one, which is why I like doing these the way that I do them. Just, you know, a 1 hour, nice long form, shoot the shit, and then that way we can, you know, see how you are and check out your stuff. And
so yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. And like I said, thank you for coming on. Everybody in the chat, thank you for popping by, and anybody who's watching this later on, please like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. And if anybody wants to, which I hope you do, go over to my Indiegogo, which is going to be launching hopefully the end of May, beginning of June. Caius: A Story of Blood and Stone, issue 1 and 2. And if you want a free preview, there is also a link down below in the description where you can read the first 16 pages of issue 1 for free to get a little bit of a vibe of what's going on with Caius. Caius is a long form story, so where we start and where we end up are going to be two completely different places. So you definitely want to get a little bit of a vibe. Go read the free pages over there. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. You can follow me on all my social media at The Ryan Cardinal. I'm super easy to find. Chat is awesome. Michael, you are awesome. Or Brian, sorry. Brian Menard. I don't know why I called you Michael. Oh, Bancroft. That's why. Yeah. Right at the top there. I do have dyslexia. So when I see something over here, it does cross over in my mind.
Oh, how about that? I didn't know.
So if I'm somewhere new and there's like signs, like billboard signs, my brain will scramble them up to make up new words to find something funny.
Okay.
So
interesting.
If it'll be like a Big Mac thing and there's somebody with glasses, and like my brain will scramble those words up to try, like, and I have to actually stop me, like, all right, I know it doesn't say that. What does it actually say? All right. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So if I screw up names, I'm usually pulling from somewhere else. So that's usually what happens. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Super stoked to have Siamese on the channel, and feel free to get a hold of me anytime, man. I'm always glad to have creators on, especially that you're going to be having a lot more stuff coming out over the next year and a bit.
Yeah, thanks very much. And hail the chat.
Hail to the chat. That's going to wrap it up, everybody. Thank you so much. Peace out.